This is your daily market recap for Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. Let's go. This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you. This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. Middle of ChopX, shortened week. Good Friday. Hope everyone is doing well. Let's get into it. As always, ChopX is playing out as ChopX. Please don't chase levels, meaning if you're not in at extreme lows or bottoms, you might get caught in the middle. Lupus dropped this funny chart, and I kind of agree. Like, trying to chart sometimes the action in ChopX is pretty frustrating because it can go up and down and all over the place, and things, tons of traps. Let's just say as position squaring gets in to end the OpEx expiration, the mini expiration for April, which is the third Friday of every month, you're seeing some choppy, sloppy moves. I mean, I've seen big pops, big drops, just quick kind of moves, and you'll see that a lot. And it's why I call OpEx ChopX. If you have any questions again about these videos or have concerns, thoughts, stop by the Discord room. Link is in the description below. Always be aware the side channels are tons of videos and information to help you get better at trading. I always invite people to come check it out. If you actually watch the videos, study the action, have general questions, you're going to learn a ton. That's just the nature of the game. Again, if you're looking for an easy answer on what's the market going to do tomorrow, or when should I buy this or buy that, those kind of answers are a little more detail oriented. And if trading was that easy, everybody would be rich. Not 95% of traders fail. And on that note, let's get into Bitcoin. And again, a lot of same thing every day, but talked about this range being a double top. We talked about this being a breakout with no volume. And when you didn't have the volume, we said if you break back below 45,000, you were heading lower. Well, we did. At this point, you're slightly oversold. Notice too, we hit the top of this VAP zone to a T, bouncing. I would look at the 42,000, mid 42,000s as resistance. Again, next resistance 45,000 plus. Bitcoin's going to be tough here. Now again, I know a lot of people who just they only assume that things can go one direction, and I always remind people there's three directions the market can go as I describe it. There's up, down, and chop. Chop is part of the direction process, and chop is really frustrating for most people. They can't wrap their head around it. They think something has to be going somewhere for the market to be functioning correctly, and it's like, nope, sometimes chop is just how the shit runs. TLT. You know, we're looking at this intraday, and if you pull up the 10-minute, let me zoom this in a little more. You had like these long wick, I mean, literally just and pop right back, and then and pop right back. Again, bulls came in at the close. Nice little bear trap. This is under accumulation. I don't know how else to describe it, but I don't know when that means it's going to end. And one of the things I've said very confidently about ChopX and OpEx and just how bottoms happen is they're not always easy. However, TLT now is providing a very easy signal if you have the capacity to just trust this. I've called this riding the lightning. And when I say something's riding the lightning, it means it's riding one of the trend lines. It was riding the bottom of the trend line for a long time. It was very clear. And at this low, it was riding the lightning. You had a couple days where it was on the low end of the range. Be aware, the exhaustive move is sometimes the gap out of a channel. It's the gap above something. It's a way of trapping people. And this is what I tell people is like, it doesn't have to be a one-day event. Notice where we're at. We're at the channel lows on the monthly. Now here's the trade. If you really want to keep it simple, you have a 3-day range. If it goes below 122, let's say 50, it's going lower. If it gets back above 124, that's bullish. I mean, you really don't have to say much more. And like, if you can just trust that this range is your friend, it's easy. Now people say, oh, this range was a failure. Yeah, I get it. But at some point, there is a trend that's going to turn around on this. Everybody's bearish. I've never seen the bond sentiment this bearish in the 20 years that I've been trading. doesn't mean it can't get worse. Let's make sure people are aware of that. Like, it can get worse. Like, there's no guarantee that trading has to, like, just because sentiment's bad, it has to pop or drop. It just is very oversold. Keep that in mind. And it's due to rip. And the market, if you look at the 10-year, the bond market is priced in almost like 6 rate hikes. The Fed's done 1. Do we really think they're going to do 6 in the near term? Did the market, again, people forget this. The market is it discounts the future. It tries to price it in now, especially when it seems certain. It seems certain the Feds are going to raise rates this year. I think no one will argue that. It's how much. Will they do it 6 times? 8 times? I don't think they will, because they just can't afford to do it. Again, we have a huge fiscal debt. There's tons of reasons why they're not. I don't want to get into it. It's in previous videos, but in kind of a midterm election, if they raise rates too fast and the market gets pretty volatile and shitty, you know who's going to own it? The party that's in control. So it's not to their benefit to tank the economy. Didn't matter if it was Democrat or Republican. Dollar. You know, these trend lines, they draw themselves. Look what happened. Pop up, dollar drop. All right, gold popped. Good work. Keep it simple. The VIX, what did we say? Got to hold the 20-day. Basically closed at it. You know, one day doesn't make a trend, but this is a nice W pattern. I think volatility will be going higher. It's not like anything got resolved in the near recent future, present, past, whatever. Bleh. All right, one green candle, bullish, bear trend's over. I mean, there's people in the Discord room who are calling for a head and shoulders bottom. I get it. I just look at the bigger chart and I give that more power. I guess it's not on the monthly. I apologize. It's the weekly. Left shoulder, right shoulder. But again, it's funny when someone, I mean, SS is always like, oh, I think it's a head and shoulders bottom on the daily. We'll go back and look at it. It's like, guy, we're breaking the 20-month. That's a problem. 20-month support, broke it, pop back, support, resistance, acting as resistance. If you can't see that the trend has possibly changed, now again, there's no guarantee, but I'm not going to assume anything's bullish when the action is bearish. Like the 20 days now curling over. This has been a monster run. Keep in mind, the market went from 217 up to 480 on the weekly. If you don't think this thing can pull back at all, then I don't know what to tell you. And again, I'm not going to say like the bear market's on, but the bear market seems to be on. Like this action, if this head and shoulders top on the weekly, way more powerful than the daily. Because if everyone's zoomed in and tunnel vision on the near term, that's how people miss moves. Now again, I can see left shoulder, right shoulder, head complex. I get it. Green candle. Wee! It's ChopX. Come on, Blake, please. People, don't get too excited about one day. And and again, if you watch the video on Monday, even Tuesday, I said you could possibly get up to this 200-day, 20-day cross. I have no doubt that it could happen during ChopX. You gap down at the end of the week. Are we going to end the week as a doji? Probably. That's like the easy guess. So ChopX, just... Man, it's so easy to get zoomed in on the big, like, short-term time frames. Here again, start of the bull market, I don't know. I mean, you got a multi-day range. Could it get up to the 50-day? Possibly. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, I get it. But here's where you got, again, you have to be a little, like, concerned. Market, 160 up to 407. That is not sustainable. It needs a bigger pullback. Notice how you had like these soft pullbacks in normal markets. You even got like chop. And then 2018, you went from what, 187 down to 140. I mean, this move was the blow off. And if you don't believe me, I mean, here is the blow off. Here is the lower high. Here is the blow off. Here is the lower high. And now again, if you want to get bullish, you go right ahead. I just don't think it's worth being bullish at this time, other than the only thing that is going for the market is earnings. But if there's buyback, blackout period because of earnings, if JP Morgan is an example of what's to come. I mean, this could get absolutely slaughtered. Now, tech was overdue to bounce, but it's also one of those things where down, pop, down. Notice this, we're playing this gap game. That's what you need to be paying attention to. That's the new trend. Novice gap, pro gap, chop, pro gap. We'll see. I'm expecting retests of the range lows at worst in the markets because they have what? Big formations and big runs. Like, it's not healthy for the market to run in a straight line. It's like endless growth leads to cancer. You know, like if your cells just endlessly grow and they're not, regulated, and the action, it just leads to problems. And so what happens, and this is what people don't think realize, and how bear markets can get so fucking destructive, is if everybody's all in, there's no one left to buy. Like, you have to shake people out and have to climb the wall of worry. I get it, head and shoulders, bottom, whatever. But if you can't get over 350 on the Qs, you better run. And I mean run, like run away, like hedge, take your profits. But we'll get into some of the Q leadership. It looks like crap. IWM, again, we've talked about this leading. Again, SS keeps bringing this up, but he's not clearly looking at one chart. And this is where I'm trying to paint a picture of why I'm bearish. It's not because I believe that I have to be bearish. The evidence is pointing it. IWM peaked in November. We talked about that. This typically leads. This bottomed first. It lagged to catch up. Remember, the Qs and the SPY were ripping, and then look what happened. Boom. Slammed. Now again, under the 50-day, back here. Let's zoom out, because this is what people forget to do. This isn't like chop. Boom, boom. This straight line move is not fucking bullish. Like, you don't want to be buying it up here. You need this thing. Now again, what is normal? I mean, I think if you get back into like 170s, that makes sense to buy for a real bounce. Like, this action to me is consolidation. People can't handle chop. Pop, chop, drop, chop, drop, chop. That's normal, like a bear market, in my opinion. Like, if how you want to see it, you can't really see it. Here again, higher, lower high, chop, lower high, boom, and then it's done in a year. Markets are pretty good at pricing in bad shit when it comes. Like, are we in one of those periods where the IWM just gets slammed, Qs, SPYs? I mean, everything. You have to have in your brain, like, the Feds do not want to see endless growth of commodities. Money is not rotating into tech. I'm sorry. If you think tech is leading the last 3 months, you've had your head up your ass, because commodities have literally ripped and tech is slacked. Well, tech is deflationary. Feds love it. When commodities are ripping, Feds get nervous. And I'm just telling you, like, at some point, they're going to try to create a liquidation break that slams commodities. I traded commodities. I've been in the markets for 20 years. I'm telling you, at a certain point, they don't like the endless runs. They're going to try to talk the market into selling this stuff, and it will drop, and then you can buy it back. And commodities will act like tech did. It'll go straight line moves. I mean, if you're not familiar with this stuff, watch my video from December 28th on the tech war. You don't want to own the armies or the soldiers. You want to own the inputs, and the inputs are commodities. Gold. I mean, everybody's bullish on gold, and this action just sucks. Gaps up, chop, closes red. Gaps up, nothing. Gaps up, nothing. No volume. I mean, you can be bullish on this monthly. Again, I'm long-term very bullish on gold, but what I think is happening here is I don't trust that this handle is going to play out as quick as people think. I think you're going to have seasonal weakness, meaning multiple months, probably into June, of just choppiness. Again, it can go from 186, say maybe down to 175, 174. There would be nothing wrong with it. Because again, if this was like an hourly chart, you'd be like, oh yeah, I can wait for that. But since it's months, no. Sell covered calls, hang out. With everything in the world, gold should be up here. Let's be honest. If gold was acting strong, gold should be up here, not down here. Not dying on volume. Silver, same thing. If silver and commodities were like this, like precious metals were strong, I'm pretty sure I can draw the trend of where it should be. It should be up here, up in the 25s. It's not. There's not really much to say about it. People are bullish, and they can't see how the weakness. Now, again, could it be reloading to go higher? Maybe, and I could be wrong. GDX, here's a good one. Said we need to go over 40. Hey, you're getting over it. I actually bought some weekly puts that expire tomorrow for pennies, because the OpEx looks like it's going to print a 38 or 39 handle potentially on the close. Hey, this is better. I mean, if you want to talk about better, that's good. Like, this is good action if you want to be a miner's bull. It's tough, really hard to argue at that point. This close was bullish. We had multiple days of chop. We were over 40-30 basically. Just warning, I'm not a fan of breakouts when the volume is light. Like, I like to break trends with above average volume. If you don't have it, think about what volume is. It's conviction. I'm not seeing the conviction. We'll see. Anyway, 50 area, same thing. We talked about it. Hey, awesome. I am glad ultimately bulls are making money. Again, I'm hedged. I'm not short other than some puts that are for lottos on this stuff. But the seasonality, I'm not really trusting it. I know this is a chop and a pop, but let's see what happens here. You don't have volume, and when you don't have volume, you don't have conviction. Doesn't mean it can't rise on light volume, but that typically leads to a trap, not actual move, because if there's actual demand for something, think about it. The volume should be high, not low. Low demand is not sustainable price action. I hope people kind of pick up on that. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong. The guy on Twitter is going to be wrong. Everyone's going to be wrong at some point. AEM holding up well. We talked about this one being better. Doji, hammer. AG, here's another one. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. If the metals are going to be ripping higher, why is this not up here in the 15s? It's not. PAAS, it's holding up pretty good. What's up, Cat? Getting over the highs. Great. Again, this volume just doesn't scream to me. And again, it's tough. This is a tough one because when you look out on the monthlies on these things, you're always coming into areas of resistance or support that no one's paying attention to because guess what? People don't ever zoom out. They don't start on the monthly chart. And again, I've talked about this 1450 area. Like, PAAS needs to get over it. Newmont, I mean, let's get into it because this one is making new highs and people are bullish and it's like, okay, feels like an M top. I mean, we made a higher high today, but the volume is just so bad. I mean, doing 4 or 5 million shares. Like, I want to see at least like 8 to 10 on a breakout. We'll see. Now, be aware of where we're at. We're over the channel highs. Hey, congratulations. Again, this action is not what I want to see to break out. I want this volume over here and that volume over here. We'll see. Again, Newmont, I mean, I'm not recommending people short this stuff other than covered calls. And if you are going to short it, the best way to short it is to be, I would say, a little late or sell naked calls. You know, like, don't buy puts. Just be careful with it because you're trying to pick a top. And I've warned people and I tell people all the time, tops are very hard. As they're seeing, like in my trades, like tops and bottoms, pretty good at them, but it's not a perfect science. It's an art. Letter X, speaking of double top, we talked about 38 on the monthly. Take your profits, pulling back, M top, 20-day breaks, door opens, this thing goes lower. If it holds up, should be good. VALE, same thing. We talked about like this island floating reversal, gap up, novice gap. Here's another example, novice gap and fail, novice gap and fail, 20-day breaks. Adios, amigos. CCJ, hey, congratulations. This one's hard because I thought it was going to be an M top. I'm still not bullish on it. And people are like, oh, you're wrong. And I'm like, we'll see. We're coming into major resistance and a fib. Doesn't mean that for a couple days you can get over something. I mean, look at these candles. They're not really like bullish. People are selling during the day. Like, you'd want to see, you want to see, like, you want to, like, if you're going to break out, this is the kind of shit you want to see. Like these nice candles. And again, it doesn't have to be a straight line move. Like, you can get up chop, up chop, up chop, but it's tough. I mean, this is trading. Again, if you think you're here for certainty, I'm warning you, you cannot. It's like the Holy Grail, trying to find it. There is no Holy Grail. It's trading probabilities. There's nothing that's 100% certain. This action, to me, it's bullish, but it's not. That's how I look at it. That, to me, is slightly dangerous. And if you don't know why it's dangerous, think about it. Come from 18, pop, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop. Look at this action. Like, you want to see like the breakout with green candles. You want to take out these highs and not stutter step. Uranium strong, like that's the thing. But are these stocks strong? Again, because if the market was really healthy, I think that's the thing people don't realize. Like this thing would be at like 34. It wouldn't be having all this like indecision. Mosaic. This is interesting. Again, we talked about like this head and shoulders top, and this is a very similar formation. Like it's a lot of long wicks at the highs. It's a lot of indecision. We'll see how it plays out. CF, it's right under the double top. This does make like an M. It closed right under it. I mean, it gapped up. It's ChopX, man. This is why swing trading is so hard. Like some people just cannot wrap their head around winning 4 out of 5 times and being wrong. And then also, what happens if you're wrong 2 or 3 times in a row? Like, how big of a loss are you willing to take? Like, just don't be like that guy or gal. Let's get into tech, because tech was overdue to bounce, especially AMD. I mean, it's broken below support. Said this thing is a train wreck. Now, again, we talk about leadership. Is this leadership? Tech laggard. Apple couldn't make new highs, considering it's supposed to be the strongest of the tech names, back up at the 20-day. Now, again, if you aren't taking profits on some of the dips and looking for reload points, you just better hope your moves are like this or like that. At this point, I took some off this morning because I was watching the action. I'm like, we're not breaking below 166. Now what happens at pop? 170. I think you can start adding back some shorts. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'll be doing it in the morning. Let's pop into ARK, because ARK is one of these big tech ETFs that I want people to realize like how bad it's lagging. Like this is not bull market action. They're a tech-based fund. I just hope people see that. I don't even want to waste more time on that, because I don't want to give Kathy Woods any props, because she's a fucking idiot. And the people who follow her are like falling off the cliff. MicroStrategy said to hold the 50-day. Cool. 20-day, 50-day. These are easy trades sometimes when they compress between the moving averages. If it gets over it, should go to the 100. Breaks below 50, it's going to trend. Keep it that simple. Roblox popped a few points. I think it got back over the 20-day. Nope, did not. I apologize. At this point, it's just chop. It looks like a head and shoulders. Like, you want to talk about a head and shoulders bottom? I apologize. That to me is a head and shoulders bottom that I'm more interested in. I hate these mid ones. Like, again, not to pick on SS, but when you see like a head and shoulders like bottom, like not far from the highs, I don't typically trust them because they don't really pan out. Again, know your time frame. Zoom out. Tesla got a nice pop today. I mean, again, these things, it came down from 1150, held the 100-day. ChopX, maybe it fills this gap. I mean, if you don't understand options expiration, then in this ChopX, what I mean, like, then you're just missing out. Again, Tesla, I'm not buying it long term. PENN, nice little test of the low. This thing looks like dead money. It's due to pop, but it looks like dead money. UTHR, this one's been interesting because it's been very nicely technical. Double bottom, popped, got over the 20-day, pulled back to the 20-day, pulled back to this blue zone and support, popped up, backed off, popped up. It's holding the 50-day. This is typical. I mean, I've said 195. Keep it simple. Good old EXP. I said in the 16s, 17s, that was kind of nuts. We're down here. We're holding. I mean, remember, this is a $90 stock, and now you got it at 17. I know they're doing well. That doesn't. And here's the thing, what I'm going to warn people on: fundamentals and stock performance don't always line up. And that thing, that's the one thing, or not the one thing, that's another thing that drives people nuts, is they go, oh, the fundamentals are great. AMD's got 30% return on their cash flow. They're doing this. They got a buyback and all this stuff. And it's like, well, does that look like a company that's reacting well to that news? No, same thing with EXPI. I mean, it is what it is. Like, good shit, but look at the price action. Don't think that you're smarter than the market. Someone's selling for a reason. If it's selling, it's selling. Now, again, I think we might be closer to bottoming because we came from 57 down to 17. There's no guarantee we're going higher. XOP, man, the never-ending drip, drop, chop. Good close for it, but again, volume is just dying. I would really like to have seen it close under 142. It didn't. I mean, again, if you're not familiar with what's going on in this trade, IPO price, 100-month, can it get a little higher? Naturally, like, again, if you think you can pick tops and bottoms within pennies, you are a fool, because fools think they know what they can predict who's liquidating and who's buying at the highs and lows. You're kind of just following. Again, XOP, again, have your stops. I mean, I like it. I mean, I was buying puts today. Now, can I be wrong? Yes, I obviously can be wrong. I tell that to people all the time. It's possible. I like this short. Again, I think the powers that be want this shit down. ExxonMobil, we talked about this thing holding here. If ExxonMobil is really leading, like oil's leading higher, this should be higher. This should be up in the 90s. It's not. Showed you guys, again, I always look at the monthlies and people just never do. And it's amazing to me. Like, you come to the Discord room, you ask a question about a stock and you go, well, I'm looking at the hourly. It's like, zoom out, friend. Like, always start on the monthly. Zoom in. We're at areas of resistance. Major VAP zone. I mean, we're at 2007 levels. Look what happened. Up, chop. Up. What's next? Exactly. I'll leave it on that. If you've enjoyed this video, please slap a like, drop a comment below, even if it is, let's say something different today. Sriracha. I mean, I don't know. Just, I appreciate any interaction with the videos. I think people are learning more about the market, because again, I'm not sitting here promising certainty, and I warn people, if you are following someone who is telling you that they're never wrong, always right, get rich quick, that stuff happens sometimes. You can get lucky and rich quick, meaning if you have some good trades. Like, you bought Bitcoin, that didn't take skill. The only skill was buying and holding. But 99.9% of trades are not just you buy it, hold it, and you get rich. So I hope that makes sense. Be aware, this is options expiration. You have Friday off. Tomorrow is going to get pretty interesting. I'll talk to you guys and gals later. Peace. Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.